Hello, everybody, and yeah, we're finally here after a little bit of a break. We are already in game with the first top 8 match, and we have Michael Catron from the United States facing up against Erik from Sweden. And I'm joined by a guest commentator, and I'm super happy to have you here. Hey, Rahul, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Yeah, we're doing great, commentating the whole day, and yeah, we have a really interesting matchup here. I don't think we've seen it a little bit, but yeah, what are your thoughts about it? Dragapult versus Station. What do you think
So
about the matchup?
I know Michael has been like a big advocate for the Dragapult deck and how it disrupts energies and just kind of does a lot with it. But it has the key thing in this matchup is that it has a lot of HP, and so Zacian always has to go for the two shot. But it plays the combo package, so if it can pull it off successfully, I guess, into something, then the prize trade gets better for it in the long run.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we missed a little bit of the first game because
Hmm.
the game already started, and yeah, we were yeah, it was kind of rushed at the very end, so we're already a little bit in, and Erik already has taken 2 prizes, and yeah,
Yeah.
the combo package would allow you to take 4 prizes in one turn if you're able to knock out the Dragapult eventually, so he's probably looking towards that to close out the game, but
Yeah,
uh,
we
yeah.
we saw a little bit of the we missed a little bit of the early game, but it does look like Michael was having a little bit of time, like a hard time setting up and getting a board established. And it looks like he's in a little bit of a pickle here because Erik has pretty much his board is filled with energies and he has the Drachi in his hand. So if he has the combo, he can set it up right now. And I mean, those three cards would have to be pretty much perfect to pull off the combo this turn, but he could do it.
Yeah, you can maybe just also the combination with like scoop up nets and stuff when you are able to use multiple Orangaroos, you can just put the Jirachi on top, play a supporter then, and then scoop up the Orangaroo and then go from
Mhm.
there, put the Jirachi on top again. So yeah, you can work towards the combo. And Michael is, yeah, really, as you said, struggling a little bit to set up. We saw that he was playing not the highest amount of energy cards,
That's
so
true.
he struggled a little bit in the early game to find it. At least it seems like it.
Yeah, Michael only plays 7 energy and 2 energy spinner, so finding the energy early game was and missing it was definitely a big issue. And I think just by watching in the last couple of minutes, he's already gone 0 for 2 on crushing hammerheads, which would help him. Especially when Erik has so many energy on the board, it could force him to make a tough decision, attack with the damage Zacian over the one that's completely clean on the bench, for example.
Yes, it's also like it's always removing the energy. We saw the at the last qualifier we saw a Dragapult build without Crushing Hammer at the top 4, but this time the Crushing Hammer builds have taken over, and we've seen a lot of energy disruption. And it seems like it's really necessary for Dragapult to slow down the opponent as well. We also
Hmm.
see power plants coming out in the Dragapult builds and stuff. And yeah, there's the Mr. Mime, and the Jirachi was probably put on top of the deck.
Yeah, and he has a
So
second Ranger already down.
yeah, Erik probably setting up for a win on the following turn with the
Hmm.
combination of like Boss's Order and just another energy card. Yeah, there
Yeah,
goes the
now
Mr.
now
Mime.
all Erik probably needs, is just a boss's orders to end the game and a switching card. So if Erik can just put another energy onto the bench one, I don't think he can attack this turn, unless he has like some switching outs he wants to burn. He might just be content passing because this active Zacian isn't really in any, like, if it gets knocked out, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Um, but it looks like he is going to retreat and hit in just to get the damage. So if putting the pressure on Michael to say you need to retreat, you can't attack me for 2 energy this turn. Uh, you're gonna be either hit me for 60 or you're gonna have to pass with a Jirachi active.
Yes, and this way you give yourself more time to like. You only need the Boss's Order, right? But give yourself more time to find it. Even if you get like reset stamped or you don't draw anything or something. But yeah, we just see Cynthia and I think, yeah, if you're Michael, you probably have to think about like what do I do for game two? What's the game plan
Yeah,
then? But
look, this game is definitely not looking in Michael's favor because he didn't hit a stamp. So Erik could just have it in hand. I mean, he's just going to be retreating and hitting for 60. So if Erik has another way to just move between the Zacians, even he can just swing into this and set up a 2 turn lethal, basically.
yes, into Jirachi, the Jirachi Prism. It's just I think putting Station V over the top, and like you get the benefit of taking extra prizes without having to spend all your early game aggression and early game potential on attaching to ADP and stuff, and going for attacks that are not Brave Blade. So yeah, allowing you to take extra prizes without spending attachments or turns attacking is just what's putting the deck over the top right now, and that's why we see, I believe, 2 in top 8, if I recall correctly.
Yes, I believe. Oh, there's 3 actually. Yes, but the biggest thing about this deck that changed from the last qualifier to this one is in the last one, ADP was still considered, like, some people were still keeping ADP, the ADP version of the deck in their lists because it was still something that people were like familiar with and people wanted to experiment with, I guess. But then once this version seemed to have the better Pikarom matchup and the better Dragapult matchup, it seemed to be the clear front runner. And the only real bad matchup I think this deck might have is like Baby Cephalon and decks like that with the weakness typing, but those kind of disappeared.
Also,
As
you
the meta.
have the potential to win those matchups. I think it's not just hard auto lose. You can play Frying Pans, you can play Tapu Fini like we see here in Erik's list, and you can take extra prizes. And also, Blacephalon is not like a pure. They put down 2-prize Pokemon, right? So you can still win it. And here we see Erik just attaching a bunch of energy with the Metal Saucer and actually whiffing the boss's order
He did, yeah.
this turn. But I don't think it should. I don't think it should matter that much.
I mean, something important to note is I have not actually noted how many scoop up nets. There you go. I think 2 are gone from Erik.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's out of everything. If he had burned too many scoop up nets on those Sycamores, or research, sorry, then pulling off the combo might have been tough. But at this point, the combo doesn't even really matter because the 3 prizes are already laid out for you. So for him, just having the out next turn to win is all that matters. And Michael desperately needs a stamp.
Yeah, there it is, off the top. No supporter in hand, but the exact card you need.
Yeah, you're welcome, buddy.
Just ask for it and you shall receive.
Supporter would have been nice, but I think the reset stamp is the only card he really needs this turn. He already has the energy in hand. He gets to put energy damage onto the board, and I mean, Michael can still come back if the stamp sticks.
Yes, but it's only a stamp to 3, and Erik is like, he burnt through quite a lot of cards, and he's still like, his deck is pretty thin. So I think there are decent chances that he draws out of it. He can also, like, if he draws and then puts something back with Primate Wisdom, then shuffles his deck again, then he can Primate Wisdom for another card. So it's not like he's stuck at 3. He has potential to see more cards and maybe move around a little bit with scoop up nets and stuff. So I think it is pretty likely that he will have an out after this stamp.
Yeah,
so
it's not over at all, and I think Erik definitely has the upper hand still. But if he doesn't hit what he needs this turn, I mean, moving the Zacian still isn't a bad idea. Forcing Michael to have the boss's orders if you don't get what you need this turn. Yeah, see, he's going to move it. Probably has a switching card in hand or scoop up net.
Yeah, there's a retreat, getting rid of the energies. I think that's there's an acrobike, so a little bit more digging potential.
He's definitely saying he doesn't have what he needs in hand.
Sometimes it can be tough to pull out the last, like the bosses, because boss is a supporter, right? And then sometimes it can be tough to get it off the low stamp without playing your supporter. And if you get keep being stamped repeatedly, then it can be sometimes tough to get like boss's order plus energy or whatever card that you need in the late game. Very reminiscent of like old days where you need like Guzma energy for game, right? And then you get like stamped 2, and you find either, but not both of them. So can sometimes be tough.
This turn is definitely telling. Like Erik is showing that his hand is pretty weak. So if Michael can hit the bosses on his turn, I think the game is Michael's. Like, it's in the bag at that point.
Yeah, there's a Mani, so no boss's order this turn. I'm not going to win right
that hand
away.
is not good from. Well, he has a supporter with the Eldegoss, I guess, but
Yeah, he can also like spread a little bit of damage around, but that doesn't make a difference.
I think
But
Michael directly checked to see if he had the bosses. He's going to
yeah,
bring that Zacian straight up.
and now it will become like super tough for Erik. I don't know how many resources he has actually left. How many metal sources are gone? I think there are at least 2 in the discard pile, maybe 3. I think there are like 8 energy gone in total.
I think what Michael's considering this turn is whether or not to knock out the Jirachi, and I think if I am, I would. With the scoop up net, treasure away the Giratina, put the damage counters back on the board. I mean, this is probably also better. I think I would have done the Giratina play, but just because that's 1 extra damage counter if you need it, as opposed to the Zigzagoon again. But
knocking out the Jirachi, super important right here to like not give your opponent the access to Stellar Wish. I mean, they have a huge hand, and only 2 cards left. But I don't know.
Looks like a concession from Erik.
Yeah, he's typing. I go first next. And yeah, Michael actually pulling it out. I was thinking he just needs the boss's order, but yeah, sometimes it can be tough to pull it off this low stamp too low.
Yeah, there was like Erik he was in the dominating position. He had 3 or 4 turns where he pretty much just needed to find 1 piece to end the game, and Michael just kept drawing that 1 top deck off the top every single turn. He needed energy card. Even the hammers didn't go his way. He pretty much just stayed in the game with like a little desperate breath of life and then pulled it back. This hand's not looking great.
Yeah. Maybe Michael will need to play from behind once again, but yeah, I've seen some Japanese players actually incorporating metal goggles instead of frying pan in their Zacian builds, and that gives you like a super good Dragapult matchup, I think, because if your opponent has to 3-shot, like if the Dragapult player has to 3-shot the Zacians and can't place damage with metal goggles, then it becomes like super tough.
So Michael loses a lot of resources, but a Dedenne does keep him in the game.
It's important.
The important thing to note here is both spinners are gone.
Yep.
So he does need a supporter off this to this Jirachi to actually find an energy, which he doesn't, but he can go into a second Jirachi here to just find another supporter.
Yeah. Also getting the treasure is nice here, so you can already get the Dragapult. You have the VMAX in hand for the next turn even. Yeah, I guess.
Missing an energy definitely hurts here, so he's just looking for a supporter, I think. There we go. Cynthia's probably what you want here. Yeah. I mean, maybe you could just, the 1 VMAX doesn't matter. I didn't actually take note of what was in the deck, so maybe.
Yeah, he glanced over it pretty quickly, so. But yeah, going for the Cynthia anyway. I think cutting, like not playing Manis, but going to Cynthias instead. For me, it's like an indication that the deck needs like a lot more moving pieces than you can sometimes hit out of 5 cards. So that extra card from Cynthia actually matters for Dragapult a lot. As for some for some decks, they can afford to just draw 5 of money and be fine with that. But yeah, Dragapult needing that extra cards and extra consistency and extra.
I think it also allows Michael to be greedier with how he builds his list, because getting that 1 extra card sometimes can mean the difference in finding that energy and not finding it. So.
Yeah, you definitely want to see this the energies on the turn 1, turn 2, and
that's 3 switch gone from Michael, I believe.
Oh, yeah, that's a super important resource. So the defensive boss's order might slow him down for 1 turn or 2.
Erik with not another missed energy attachment from hand. Will he get one off the Intrepid Sword? He does not.
Yikes. Oh. And Michael just draw it, man. JK, I don't play energies, Erik said in chat. Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, he's sitting there with like a 12-card hand, but...
Well, that's where we know where the Zamazenta came from, at least.
Yeah, apparently there's a Zamazenta in Catron's list, in case you didn't know. But yeah, he's not playing any metal energy. It's just there to sit in the active and be annoying. And yeah, apparently Michael cut an energy for it.
Michael missing a draw supporter. He can, if he would like to, knock out the Jirachi this turn. He can pull up with boss's orders, scoop up net the Zigzagoon, and could have done 60 if he didn't switch directly into the Drachi.
Yep. But here I think it's still fine because your opponent is not applying a lot of pressure. You maybe get access to even 2 Stellar Wish on your following turn, and you're probably going to be able to hit draw supporter of that. And yeah, just waiting and see what your opponent's doing, and maybe like if Erik has to put down more support Pokemon, and you can use that with the Dragapult and spread around efficiently.
Mm-hmm. That's one of Erik's saucers gone. He would need to. He could realistically attack this turn,
Yep.
given the hand size he has. But if he wanted to, he'd be burning 2 saucers, which in the long run doesn't seem smart.
Another Intrepid Sword, not hitting an energy once again. What the heck?
Is he even
Like,
trying with these?
he has like 12 cards in hand, but oh, there's research off the top for Catron, by the way. Really nice.
Yeah.
What do you want to
You
see?
just grab that hammer again, try again.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 for 1 or 1 for 2. That's fine. That's reasonable odds. That's how they work.
Yes. Scoop up net, Jirachi in the active, and yes, just research, refuel your hand, but no,
No energy.
No energy. Oh no, and another Tails.
Does anyone play energy in this game?
At least you can stamp your opponent down to 6, I guess, from like 15.
15. Yeah. And you get a quick ball off. You can start setting up the drags if you would like to. Michael being very smart about sequencing, making sure the tech cards like Giratina are being placed into the discard, giving you the option to get that extra damage counter onto the board when you need to. This 60 damage is actually pretty relevant just because in the long run, that means that he could do 130 and then damage counters to the bench, put some damage on with Giratina, boss's orders, and try to take a double knockout in 1 turn.
Yes. Spreading out those damage counters is can sometimes lead to those huge swing turns where you're able to just demolish your opponent's board, take out all their threats at once, combine it with the reset stamp, and then go from there. But yeah, after the stamp, now maybe Erik draws a little bit better. Maybe he sees some of his energy cards. There's a Mr. Mime coming down to bench. I can't imagine that card from the top being put into the prizes being anything else other than a Jirachi Prism. So
that's true. Looks like another saucer, so that's 2 of Erik's saucers down. No energy again.
Oh no. Dragapult VMAX, second one hitting the board, and yeah, if you're Michael now, you feel pretty confident because if you get the first hit in as Dragapult, and you're like never mind. I am speaking too soon because apparently no one is running energy cards. Maybe someone should have told them beforehand that it's good to run energy in your deck because then you can actually use the attacks of your Pokemon.
Unreal.
Yes, 5 energy left, not counting, I don't know how many are prized, but he should have 5 energy left, and he has 8 cards left in his deck, by the way.
Erik just used his 3rd patch, but important to note that 3 patches are down, and he has not attacked yet.
Yikes! Yeah.
When this Zacian takes a hit next, what is the follow-up answer? When Michael can move into something and place damage. Maybe Michael just attaches to active and hits if he can find an energy. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, maybe going for the extra prize right here probably definitely going for the extra prize right here. 3 prizes off the Dedenne, then you only need to knock out 1 Dragapult. 1 VMAX for the game.
Jirachi always, Michael.
Yeah. So no energy just yet for Michael. Let's see. Oh, there are 2.
Okay, we're good. Now, Michael, see, by doing this play, I understand that Erik's hand was probably super weak, so he had to make that play to get the extra prize card into play and draw the 2 cards. But by doing this, now Michael gets to have a free attachment on the bench Dragapult. And even though all Erik needs is a boss's orders to close out the game, Michael can still set up this double KO turn next turn. And when that happens, this 230 damage that Michael doesn't matter. 3 patches are gone.
Yes, there's no way you set up a Zacian in 1 turn. You need to, you need so much this turn. You need Switch, Scoop Up Nets, Zacian, Metal Energy.
Yeah, Erik would literally need Scoop Up Net, Metal, Zacian this turn to even have a chance to attack next turn. If all of that does not happen, Erik cannot attack next turn with a Zacian.
And there's an energy attachment to the Jirachi, so that does not sound very good.
It looks like we're going for a slap.
Oh, never mind. It's just retreating. Okay. But you still you have no. Yeah, you have no way to attack on the following turn. So I guess you hope your opponent doesn't get the double. No, you get the double knockout in any case. Yeah, you have the double knockout on board. So
Michael, I don't see a world where Michael can actually lose because the missed energy attachment also happened.
Yep.
He's just thinking about, is there any way that I can potentially lose? He's taking 4 prizes this turn. Michael or Erik literally can't attack with a clean Zacian because 3 patches are gone. I don't actually know what Jirachi Prism's attack does, so that might be relevant. I hope not.
And the scoop up net is exactly also something you want to see if you're Michael, because then you can double knockout next turn on a Jirachi or something.
He's just showing us the Zapazenta over and over again.
Yikes. It's so funny. Why? I don't know.
I guess Mirror, it could be pretty good.
Yeah.
Also, it's a meme card. It's funny. It's very funny.
It's very funny. It's very funny. Yeah, that's true.
Hand looks good for Michael.
Eldegoss giving a bunch of options if he needs them. Yeah, there's a Metal Saucer.
That's the last one.
Yes.
This should still be a pretty cut and dry turn from Michael. 2 cards in hand from, well, now he goes to 5, I guess. Erik, he missed an energy attachment. None off the Intrepid Sword. You're not even scared anymore.
Once again, yeah.
You can just Sycamore, move between the 2 pieces. You can even just Boss's Order up something. You can even just attack. You have so many options.
Yeah, I think because because Erik missed the energy of the Intrepid Sword as well, now he can't even attack on the following turn, right? He's
because that energy attachment was a patch, it means that Erik has lost this game.
Yes. If there was a manual attachment or hit of the Intrepid Sword, then you maybe have a chance, right? If Michael just if you can maybe get the boss right here, but like this, I believe there's no chance because the Jirachi Prism only has 50 HP left, and only a 1 spread of damage counter will be enough to knock it out.
It doesn't matter. I mean, he needs a Scoop Up Net, right? He needs double Scoop Up Net to pick these 2 up, and that then making Michael's only win con a bosses. But if he triple Scoop Up Nets,
I mean,
then
we could be interesting. Yeah, there's some more ways, so that would deny the Eldegoss if that comes down.
But it's, I think,
I think there are too many scoop up nets gone for Erik to even pull it off.
No.
It's always, I think online it's always super hard to keep track. Like when you're watching the game, spectating, it's super hard to keep track what's actually in the discard pile because players don't look at the discard pile of their opponent enough.
I think it's easier to just make a mental note when you're playing online that they use a certain piece, but in person it's a lot easier to just pick up the discard pile and not waste that. I guess maybe waste isn't the right word. Not just use the energy to do that.
Yeah.
It just looks like Erik is going through the motions, trying to see if there's anything he can do to kind of salvage this game.
Yeah, if there's something, then you certainly want to try everything out that you can. But I don't see a way out right here. Yeah, he's thinking.
He's running through all the motions. It never hurts to just give yourself a second thought and never. I mean, I scoop games a lot when I think it's over, but sometimes you want to make let your opponent make a mistake if there's a chance. So that Fionn play was to see if Erik or if Michael would make a mistake, but Michael knew the Jirachi is the only thing to really promote. The only mistake he could make is promote the damaged Dragapult, even that didn't matter.
Maybe
Because,
you misclick on PTCGO, you know?
I mean, click a button syndrome, am I right?
It has happened before. People have misclicked in this game. Yeah, but really, even though Michael looked very behind on game 1 and his start was not so great in game 2, he was able to pull it off in the end. And yeah, like
moving on
the
to top 4.
victories were quite convincing, I would say. I mean, Erik wasn't drawing too hot, so that factored in certainly. And he's making his way onto top 4.
Yeah, I mean, Michael, like both games, even though Michael didn't really have like a crazy good start or crazy like anything like flashy, right? Like the Zacian deck with the combo. Dragapult is one of those decks where you just attach, slow your opponent down, and then you just slowly take control of the game with your big HP Pokemon that you can move between Stamp, Power Plant, Crushing Hammer, Scoop Up Net.
Yeah.
You just keep doing this until eventually you just overwhelm your opponent. And Michael's list is very greedy, I think, for this current metagame. But you can see in that game where if your opponent is a little bit slower and is on the same pace as you, where you can win because I mean like they just can't keep up eventually when you start hitting hammers and your 130-50 spread plus the draw, the Zigzagoon and Giratina just will set up these combo KOs that aren't flashy, but you can't stop them.
Yeah, I really like the inclusion of Giratina. Being able to spread 2 damage counters around this sometimes can make a huge difference. And yeah, as every time Dragapult comes up, I mention this, but the damage counter placement is so important, and that's why the deck has such a huge skill ceiling, in my opinion. And you really see how the good and the great players place the damage counter and are able to capitalize off that. Even though we now have Scoop Up Net to revert that a little bit.
Yeah.
It is in the meta, so it doesn't matter as much, but still super fun to spread damage around and then go from there, take multiple knockouts in one turn. It kind of reminds me of the old Decidueye GX a little bit, but yeah, spreading damage is always fun.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think we will go to a quick break for now, and yeah, see you in top 4, I guess, with another match, and it's going to be exciting for sure. See you.